It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. We got a brand new forum video that we want to discussion video here. And I wanted to cover this immediately after seeing the title because I already knew that this is already the start of the decline of 2v8, which 2v8 has definitely kind of struggled a little bit to be, I would say, fun sometimes. I would say, like, for a lot of players. Let's really begin with this one. So it says Oni is too strong and too common in 2v8. They say, I get it, there's not that many killers to choose from, but game after game is Oni after Oni. It makes it seem boring. They also gave Oni a ridiculous turn rate, so now he is pretty much an easy stomp. If he gets a map he can free run in, which is most of them. Do not include him in the next 2v8. Now, this is not a great sign. I hope that we don't get Oni removed, but Legion was removed for the same thing. They just didn't want to be injured all day, even though healing speed is extremely quick because of medic. And because there's like multiple people able to heal you, but apparently it's somehow it's a little bit too difficult. Even though it's like I don't get it. You know, I don't get it personally. But either way. So unfortunately, it seems like Oni is the new target, at least for a particular form. I'm not sure how many are going to, you know, how many posts all across the board, whether it be Reddit or whatever forum, or whatever, you know, whatever, that could be targeting Oni. Very unfortunate. The roster, and it's really funny, right? Because the choices for actual playable killers in 2v8 is very slim, right? Gens are really quick, as you guys know, so a lot of us have to pick Billy and Oni sometimes, Wesker and Blight. Like, we need characters that can help us get across the map quicker. I've even seen it when they play while you wait. Like, when I see a character like Slinger, Huntress, like together, I go, yup, this is gonna be easy. Like, or like if I see like a Chucky or something, I go, yeah, this will be light. I'm like, this is not gonna be it's not gonna be a loss, really. Because they need mobility, man. Like, without mobility, gens are gonna get done very quickly, whether you like it or not. I mean, even with mobility, gens get done quickly whether you like it or not. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, you're kind of like stuck in that, right? Because I've tried to play other characters that didn't have as much mobility, and it's like, keep in mind the queue time, right? I mean, you're waiting 30 minutes. That's 2 entire matches of Survivor, which already I've spoken plenty of times about. That hasn't really been the most engaging thing to do while waiting for the killer 2v8 queue. Because a lot of the time you spend a majority of your time like just filling a bar up, and then you go somewhere else and fill another bar up, and then you go somewhere else and you fill up another bar, and then you run for a little bit, and then go back to filling another bar up. And it's like, okay, like, I would like to do something a little bit different, you know? Like, maybe if we could like look for stuff, or, you know, like explore, you know, something else, you know. But it's just a lot of stuff. So this person says, he is by far my most disliked killer in the mode. I'll take a team of Blighted Nurse over an Oni any day. Which I'm not really surprised to see that. This particular poster usually likes to display that they're extremely biased to a particular side. So that was kind of expected. We already knew that was coming. The next person says, he is super weak until he powers up. If he is bad, or his teammate... well, I don't know what that means. It says his teammate, then it's... So if he is bad or his teammate is bad, then it's minimally... what the heck? Minimally draw in terms of kills, escapes. His slugging nature is well managed here because survivors can pick themselves up. So you must count how many slugs and distance between them for time for me. So I find Wesker's vault. So wait, hold on. Bro, they're like the holy run-on sentence. Wesker's vault is ghouls on roids. No, that's not accurate. Wesker's vault is actually probably worse than either the same or worse as ghouls, because Wesker can't attack when he vaults. When he vaults, he had like with his ability, he has to put his power away and his like down, and then he has to keep walking. So he can't actually M1 you unless the tile is super tiny. And even then, a lot of people just make the vault regardless. So it's like you kind of had it going, and then I don't know. They kind of sometimes people just have like really weird takes afterwards. This person says the way every game turns to a 10-minute gen kicking match at the end is a bigger concern in my opinion. I do agree with that as well. You know. So yeah, I mean, at least when I've been playing Oni, because I'm not very good at Oni. I've struggled pretty heavily, like because of the fact that I have very little practice with him. And it's very hard to try to practice in a 2v8 because a lot of people already know how to counter it. So, you know, me trying, and on top of the new way that Oni works, collision is really one of his biggest obstacles. So I didn't really have much of a good time playing Oni personally. But if it's a good Oni, then he can hold his own. But keep in mind that he's only empowered for a fraction of the time if he's not able to M1, which keep in mind that a lot of maps are, you know, very hard to play on with an M1 killer. So, you know, Oni is an M1 for a good chunk of the game, especially if nobody stays injured, which I've gone against a lot of teams that just don't stay injured. So there's not much blood to go around really. Or they tend to heal in areas that are like way outside of where I want to be. So they'll go into like the edge map with like a gen done, and it's like I have no reason to go there because I mean there's 7 to 6 other people I have to look at. So I'm like I have no time to be going over there. You know what I mean? To actually pick up the blood anyway. So, but that's like for me, right? Like it's me taking the time out to learn the character. That's me taking the time out to understand how the character works. You know what I mean? And I can fully admit, like, it is a skill problem for me. I need to get better with the character. You know what I mean? And maybe 2v8's not the place to learn. But regardless. So, on paper, you could say, like how this person says, Oni is strong in 2v8 with more blood orb spawning, and he gets a very target-rich environment. Sure. Sure. And yeah, you can pretty much find a survivor quickly. I mean, you're moving quickly, but to get the down, I mean, that still relies on the Oni player to actually be good at the character. You know what I mean? They say a little longer power cooldown, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because, like I've said before, his power cooldown is literally you being injured. So if you heal quickly, you know, you run medic instead of like torchbearer all the time or sprint burst, and actually run medic and you're healing quickly, which is the most effective tactic against a vast majority of the roster that actually plays in the 2v8. So like, you know, you're pretty much going to counter him pretty heavily. Now this person says first it's Legion, now it's Oni, who's next? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it's pretty rough, you know what I mean? And it makes me a little disappointed in the community because, you know, instead of trying to learn things or improve at things, they just want to do the same old, and want every other killer in 2v8, mind you. That's supposed to be the casual mode, supposed to be the fun mode. They want to remove killers from that selection, which already there isn't many killers that are even remotely playable in 2v8 person. I've tried playing Ghostface before, and I won't ever again. Right? He has it's character by character. I mean, even Minskull covered a list of the best characters in 2v8, and I think when you look at like what are the top like 3 to 5 characters are in that list, like they're high mobility, right? Even when you looked at the other characters in that video, for example, that discussed like which characters to like that are kind of weaker, like Slinger and stuff like that. He even stated that, yeah, run a high mobility character on the side to help compensate for your lack of mobility. And this person says, so all the palettes and windows on the map just don't exist, I guess. I completely agree. I completely agree. If free heals from vials, free anti-slug, free fast heals from medics, it's still not enough to deal with him. At what point are you finally just going to go, maybe I or our teammate just messed up? Which is exactly my point, I think, right? We have medics. You can have 4 medics. You have also med kits that spawn in chests. You have the ability to heal with 3 people on 1 person. You also have the anti-slug from your abilities. You have the vials that insta heal and remove hook states. So those are like at least 5 different ways that you can literally counter the character. So it's a bit inaccurate to say that Oni is this crazy character. If anything, I'm impressed to see an Oni actually land hits pretty accurately. Because I have to say from personal experience, like I've been learning Billy. It's been great. Tried Oni, definitely very different than Billy, and I've been struggling with the character, and I can admit that it's a skill issue. That's fine. I just need more practice. Nothing wrong with practice. It should be normalized in the community to be able to practice things, be able to learn things. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't get why it is. This person says, comments like these is why we can't have good things. As soon as Legion got removed, everyone else with a slightly bad survivor experience in 2v8 started looking for which other killers they should aim their sights at on who else should be taken out. It's not enough survivors are getting the strongest buffs and classes they ever saw in any game mode or modifier. The other side needs to be completely mutilated for them to enjoy their part. And it does seem that way, doesn't it? I mean, I understand where this person's coming from. I understand the perspective, because it does seem that way. You know, when with the killer side, like when we looked at the classes, they all have 60-second cooldowns for every ability they have. Yet on when you look at the survivor bonuses, they've received you know, the serums, which offer help-free heals without needing any help, removal of hook states. You have like medics. You have blast mines and flashlights that you can spawn in with now, alongside with the, you know, the flash bangs that you can also use as well. So like there's a lot of things that give the survivors even more help. And even before that, the 2v8 where they changed it so you have to do the hooking animation so that they can actually save instead of doing the little stepping on them animation. The numerous amount of pallets that they can fall under, which could also allow for pallet saves, things like that. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's at least where I stand from. This person says that I would say it's the average 2v8 player's bad sense of macro that makes Oni so strong. The amount of times I've played 2v8 and I have only seen a few people trying to manage themselves. Healing should be done in a corner, so it takes a long time for the Oni to get there. Too many people just heal nearby high traffic areas like gens and act surprised when the Oni doesn't have to go far for his power. This is even more important by late game as there are a few gens left. Let's go heal in the area where most are already done to make him travel for it. You know what's funny is that like that's literally what I mentioned earlier in the video. It's like, speaking from personal experience, I've gone against loads of teams that were able to counter it, right? They knew how to dodge the attack, right? They knew where to heal. They knew where to go. So it's not like it's impossible because people are doing it, right? And I'm saying from personal experience, right? Like if there's no orbs around and they're like not in high traffic areas, and I have to travel all the way across the map to go actually get my power, that means that I have to come back from where I was with the power. And the power is just constantly running out anyway once it activates. So it's not like it pauses at some point. Like I have to, the only way it'll pause is if I get it down and I pick up. So if I'm walking, if I'm kicking, I'm doing this, that, and the third, the power is running out. So I pretty much don't have a lot of time if I'm playing Oni. And it's been, at least for me, I have not had a lot of fun with Oni because of that. It's very hard to learn. Even as somebody who has Well, speaking as somebody who's only been playing M1 killers and Pyramid Head for as long as I have been, it's like sort of trying to dive into the deep end with basically, you know, no information, nothing to base your previous experience from, and stuff like that. And these are the things I'm noticing, right? These are the counters. And this person says 20% is not even the important part. I just said that to poke fun at OP's ridiculous turn rate. It's the movement speed buff that gives him the extra lunge. And even then, without how pallet dense 2v8 is, it's not like you don't have a way to hold him off. Also, regression is just equalizing 2v8 1-to-1 with how fast a single survivor can repair it. This can be countered by Guide with a Blast Mine to make up for the time lost in difference and give a massive head start, which I completely agree with that as well. I can say from personal experience, like Blast Mines eat up about 5 seconds. That's plenty of time to repair a gen somewhere else that maybe I've kicked. There's plenty of time to make distance. If you're, you know, usually people are running it with, you know, other teammates might have sprint burst, so they'll like pair it with them. They'll both run off in the speed of light into a completely safe area. And keep in mind that Oni is still an M1 killer until he gets his ability. And if you're making that much distance, he's still man with sword. So it's not like he's gonna be able to like fly over there and catch you. I do agree completely that a lot of people that are playing 2v8 just don't have really any understanding of the macro play, and that's why I say, like, why aren't we normalizing improvement and learning? And like, because like, you know, people say they love the game, so I'm like, why not try to learn the game? Like, if you love the game, learn the game. Like, but why not learn more about the thing you love? Like that to me just seems normal. Like I could use a perfect example is like this game that you guys are familiar with, Eugenics, right? Like, I've been playing in my free time, and I like sort of just going through the runs and trying to learn a little bit more every time, trying to see what items do, what interactions of these things do, what traits do they have, right? And even recently, I looked at a guide of like how to, you know, breed the cats better to get better stats, or like or here's a tip here for how to do this better, and I've been applying that, right, for my experience. And it's made it even more interesting, because now I'm looking at, you know, the stats, the family tree, basically, like trying to understand, like, you know, what characters, you know, abilities can do what with what items would work better, comparing stats. Like, the game just becomes even more interesting the more that I'm understanding it and learning it. So I'm just not understanding at least the mentality of like, I love a game, but I will never learn about it. I love a game, but I'll never improve at it. I love a game, but I don't even want to know anything about it. Like, it's just a strange concept to me. I just don't really understand it. You know, maybe someone could help explain it, but I just don't understand. It just really is a bit confusing to me. So let's see. This person also is saying as well that the now you want, like, we whined about Legion and now you want Oni out. A lot of people seeing this post, like, from this person is probably saying the same thing. So yeah, and at least for like when I've gone against Onis in 1v4 and 2v8, like, I've never really had a problem with it, because keep in mind that, like, you know, in order for Oni to get the hit, he needs to have a really good amount of space to actually land it. So if I'm hugging the wall tight and I'm turning corners pretty tight, like, he's gonna have to be able to do it, like, to be able to play correctly to get it to land. And if it's an average like Oni player who's learning, probably a high chance that he's not gonna land it. You know what I mean? And if he did and he's good at Oni, hell yeah, he learned. He did it. He got it. You know what I mean? Then I have to see how I can improve with that. So this person says, I don't know, especially if Oni is that common. I have not seen him that much. What annoys me is the Nemesis Chucky combo. Which I want to point out that, like, these are two slow moving characters, by the way. These are slow movers. Like, Chucky and Nemesis don't have dash. Well, Chucky has a dash, but it's not mobility where he can keep going. He can kind of go in one direction for like about a little bit and then he'll stop. Nemesis, he has to like stomp his big self all around this map and like hopefully get up to you, you know what I mean? So like I don't personally you know, want to play him either. Yeah, they say it seems to me it's much more common than Oni itself, but maybe that's just my impression, which it is. You know, a lot of people have anecdotal experiences, and, you know, so we can't always use that as facts. They say Nemesis is annoying in 2v8 anyway because of his zombies. Which, I mean, no, like, Nemesis can be annoying, but it's manageable. Like, if you work together, right? Like, if one person leads the zombie away, potentially could kill it with a pallet, like, that's perfectly fine. Like, I've played a lot of the Survivor 2v8 because I'm playing while I wait. I'm getting 2 every match, so I've gone against a lot of Nemesis. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you know, you just gotta lead them away, just like the usual in 1v4. Sometimes I'll have like scout, so I'll just like I'll use the pallet, kill the zombie with it, and and then just lift it back up again. That's usually what I'll do. You know, because it's just like how you counter things. That's just how it works, and you know. They say it sometimes feels like you're dealing with 6 killers. 4 of them are weak, but they can see you from far away and send not just 1 but 2 stronger rushing towards you. But yeah, that, I mean, like I keep saying, right? These things are counterable. These things are not true. Like, you're saying you're feeling like it's actually 6 killers, but it's not really. It's not actually 6 killers. Because the zombie in itself is not going to hurt you unless you are infected. You know what I mean? So, and say you are not infected and the zombie tries to swing, you can dodge it, right? Because he does have a pretty slow swing. You can get out of the way. It will stand there for a second, giving you plenty of time to swing around it. Also, the fact that if it does land an infection, it does give you haste. A little bit of movement speed because it landed an infection. Now, it doesn't work when you're going against Nemesis because he does have the hindered. But if the zombie hits you and you're not infected, it will just give you a speed boost. So there's like a lot of different things that, for whatever reason, it's like they just don't want to learn, which is very strange. And look at this person is super base. They say, I'm going to have to go against downvoters here. I like facing Oni in 2v8. A good Oni will always impress me more than any other killer. I've survived plenty of matches against him and lost against good ones. Never felt unfair to me. Only survivors who are in bad positions and not using their resources or not staying aware if the Oni is running undetectable. Which I do completely agree. This is very based. I really wish we had more people that had this kind of mentality. This is a healthy way to look at the game. It's very healthy and it's very positive. Acknowledge the person who's playing the character. It's a positive thing to see. Like, because Oni is not easy to play. At least from my experience. But then you see right after, Oni is so easy, it's basically impossible to miss. But this is the same person that has not been playing Oni. So how would they know that? Right? So this is like mainly what I'm talking about. And then they say if you're out in the open and an easy picking, sure. So it's based. Very based. Very based. We'll quickly touch on this one too. 2v8 is already so easy for survivors. The survivors do gens killers in most cases lose. You got Legion out of the game already. Now you want Oni. I can't even play 2v8 due to be so boring for survivors now. To me, it feels like killer bullying simulator. This is getting silly. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, right? Like, you know, having to do the play while you wait, it is quite. I hate to say it, it's quite boring. You know what I mean? Like, the more that the 2v8 survivor gets stronger, like the less and less interesting it becomes. And it already started very uninteresting as it is, at least for me. So, with that being said, of course, it's like, how do we make it more interesting is a very good question. I've suggested why not have like the ability to like look around for stuff, you know what I mean? Maybe to, you know, help with the gen speed, but that's more for 1v4. And I haven't really put much thought into how to improve 2v8 regardless. Because it's very unlikely that my suggestions will really be added, but if I were to give it a thought, I mean, I would want to find some sort of additional objective to do to try to make it a little bit more fresh. Because like I've stated before, it just kind of feels like I'm filling a bar most of the game, and it's not really like I'm actually engaging with the actual gameplay. Which a lot of the time is going against like a killer or something like that. But I'm gonna pass it on to you guys. What are your thoughts on the topic at hand today? What is your thoughts on the 2v8? And consider hitting the like button and subscribing. If you really want to support the channel, you could become a member on YouTube or even Patreon to have access to exclusive content, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off our members from Patreon Pro King 101, YouTube members, Cargan Falcon, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Cozy Bozy, Theo Endire, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. And for the Twitch, we have Final Girl Bunny, Leona Art, Zazabu, Evil Blade, Danica, Crow Vader, Cake is a Road, Zeneron, Ginsburg, Mr. Morik, Kevin, Zero Mocker, Ashai Boo, and Gryffindor. Appreciate you guys supporting. Really means a lot. If you want to become a member, you can go ahead and join through Patreon or YouTube members, or even sub on Twitch. See you guys in the next one.